All right, good afternoon. I am super excited to be here for another Tech Tips 411 Summer PD Series session. So thank you guys so much for joining me for today. Let me know that you're here in the chat and where you're tuning in from. I'm so glad to be talking about today's topic. Today is all about video creation tools, and I love video. And so I'm super excited. This is the first time I've done a session that's exclusively about tools you can use to create videos. And I'm going to highlight some of my favorite tools that I use and kind of the ability level that's required and just kind of the software, hardware, that kind of stuff. So let's go ahead and dive in. So for those of you that I don't know and you've just stumbled across this video and you're like, who is this person? My name is Jennifer Holland. I'm an educational technology specialist. And what that means is I provide technology training for teachers around the district in Atlanta. And I work closely with teachers on using technology effectively in their lessons. I push into classrooms, get to work with students. And I also get to help them plan their lessons to make sure that they're integrating technology in their standards-based lessons effectively. So, love what I get to do. And today's topic is really what I do a lot of. I actually push into a lot of classrooms and work on video projects. So I'm super excited right now to talk to you about this. So here we go. Let's dive in. Our goals for our session today are we're going to explore video creation tools. So I'm going to highlight a number of tools. Hopefully you're going to gain some ideas for using video creation tools for your lessons, what you might do to create videos. And then also hopefully you're going to gain some ideas for students to create video projects as well. That's our goals. So when we talk about video editing tools, we want to look at the features. So not every video editing tool, a tool to create videos, is created equally or has the same feature set. And you're going to want to think about these things in terms of what tools you want to use. So kind of things that I look for when I'm looking at tools and wanting to and start creating video, I'll look at these things. So as folks are dropping in, please, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat. Let me know who's tuning in, where you're tuning in from, and maybe how you're using video in the classroom right now, or what video tools you're using. I'd love to hear. So here we go. One of the first things I look at is the video file formats. That means what can I bring in and what does it spit out? Whether or not I can cut segments or trim things, that's kind of important for me. Whether I can join clips and resequence them. That means if I drop one in and move it around, can I do that? Can I add titles and or text? Those are things that I look for as well. Can you rotate or crop your footage? Can you add sound effects, audio tracks, add transitions and other special effects? Does it have chroma key? And if you're not familiar with chroma key, we'll talk about that. And then what are the export format and options? Like, can I only export it as one type of video file? Or can I export it as various types of video files? Or can I even directly push it to YouTube, for example? So those are things that I look at when I'm looking at different video tools. Now, we're going to talk about different ones, and we're going to talk about kind of the, I'm going to start kind of a little bit easier on the spectrum in terms of ease of use and what you can do. And we're going to then get to the more complex tools. All right. So I was Googling, because Google's powerful, and I decided I would look up a list of video tools, and gotta love Wikipedia. This is actually, I screen grabbed this from Wikipedia, a little GIF here. And these are all of the video tools that are currently active right now. There were ones I've never heard of before. Just to give you an idea, though, there's different types of tools. There's web-based tools. There's applications you need to download. There are prosumer ones, means it's like, more professional, but it's a paid one. There's professional video tools. There are more student-facing or, lower level beginner kind of video tools. So I just thought this was fascinating that there was this many different tools. And as much as I've done video production for years, I mean, I started way old school with a point and shoot Kodak camera with my first movies back in the day, and using like old school Windows movie editor, which doesn't even exist anymore. So I got some folks right here. I love this. Oh, my friend. Oh, look at this. Rick, my friend right here. He is a video guru right here. So I love right here. And he says he uses his videos for lesson explainers and demonstrations. Yes, for sure. Lots of ways to engage your learners, because I mean, that's what they do, is they consume video. So I did kind of break it down into like, there's the free and open source, and free is my favorite price, but free generally requires that you have to download the app. And that means if you don't have the administrative rights to download to a device, or your students don't have that ability, this might eliminate these options. But one that I've really started using recently, and actually my most recent quick tip, I actually edited it on Shotcut. So, and it's available on Mac OS, Windows, and Linux. And I thought it was pretty cool. It's a lot of fun. I'm going to show you a screenshot of what it looks like. But so that's like an open source one that I've been playing around with because, hello, free is one of my favorite prices. Then you have others that are like, they're free or they're freemium. Like you can get one version for free and download it. And then if you want more robust features, you got to pay for it. And so another one that I've been playing around with a lot lately is DaVinci Resolve. Is pretty cool. iMovie natively comes on your Mac device. Microsoft Photos is on your Windows device, and that's pretty cool. And then WeVideo being a web app, that means you can use it for free with a watermark, but then you can actually pay for some additional features as well. So, and in fact, I got to say, Rick is a WeVideo ambassador. He's like a guru with WeVideo stuff. So there are some more advanced commercial apps, and a couple of those that I've tried when I started doing green screen stuff was After Effects and Adobe Premiere, and those are obviously paid service apps. I've also been using Camtasia a lot. That's also a paid one that's pretty cool, and it's great for screencasting. Then there was all these others so I've got homework over the summer to explore some more video tools. So the first thing I want to talk about is Flipgrid. And you might be like, what do you mean Flipgrid? But Flipgrid actually has video editing capabilities. So since it's free, favorite price, it's web-based, and you can use the app, you've got options, and your students can go in and create videos, and you can create shorts using their stuff as well. So I wanted to highlight that if you haven't played around with Flipgrid, check it out, because they give you the ability to record a couple of different clips, trim the front, trim the back, rearrange it. So there we go. That's kind of a little bit more advanced editing. Now, the drawback is that when you create your project, you have to record and edit and submit in one sitting. So you can't save what you're doing and come back to it. So that's kind of a drawback for me in terms of like if I'm doing a heavy level project. But for kids to do a quick video project, Flipgrid is awesome. So I included this in here just because I was playing around yesterday with the screencasting. And if you didn't get to check out my session on screencasting tools, I did one yesterday. And we talked about the fact that Flipgrid has screencasting in there. All right. I love it. I got a question here. Thanks, Greg. I would like my 3rd to 5th grade students to shoot, edit, produce videos for school news share. We have Chromebooks and iPads. You're golden if you've got both, because I have a lot of schools that say I only have Chromebooks. Well, Chromebooks, WeVideo is fantastic. You can use WeVideo on your Chromebook as well as on the web. Like you can access it anywhere, which is really cool. So I think that's a great option for you. And then iPads, we're going to talk about some other tools as well. So definitely some stuff we're going to talk about are going to work on both of those platforms. Great question. So another tool I mentioned yesterday for screen recording is Screencastify. But what's cool is you can record your screen and then you can go into the editor. So now you have the editor ability. So a lot of screen recording tools, it's literally you record it and that's it. But Screencastify, I can go in, I can do some trimming, and I can even put a couple segments together. So it's very simple, but it does have editing capabilities. So it might be something for you to do your flip lessons or something, or your students might do a demo and they could do it in Screencastify. So next up, I've got Adobe Spark. And Adobe Spark is free, favorite price, web-based, and there's a mobile app. And that's going to work on iPad. And since it's mobile, Greg, that's going to let you use, your students are going to be able to use it. And it's super slick and easy to use. So this is a great tool for your elementary students. So Adobe Spark is free. There's a premium option that if you upgrade and you don't want to have the little Adobe Spark logo at the bottom, which I'm totally fine with it not having it. It lives right down here. No worries. Kids are just creating content. I don't need it to look that fancy or pretty. But when you create it, there is the ability to do voiceovers. That's a really cool tool because it's letting my students that can explain their thinking use that tool. You can add in your own videos. You can bring in images. You can put in your own drawings. So it's pretty cool. And because it's cloud-based and there is a mobile app, I can come back to it. So I could start on it during class and then work on it for homework, or vice versa. I started it at home and then I came into class and then I was like showing, got some feedback, and I made some edits. So Adobe Spark is definitely one I think you would want to check out. If you're not familiar with Adobe Spark, I did a whole session on Adobe Spark creation tools, including their video, post, and page tools. I'll put the link in the description and you can check that out if it's something you're interested in exploring. Okay. All right. Next up, and this is really kind of a lot of apps that I'm just going to talk about, give you guys some good ideas. This one is not an editor, but it's a tool that I use to actually record my stuff. So it's great for screen recording. I talked about it yesterday as a screen recording tool, but it's actually what I'm using to create my virtual camera to do cool stuff like this. I can change things out, and actually I'm going to switch it over here so you guys can see here. So I can preset all these cool things inside of OBS, and when I'm recording, I can make these changes live. Even change the different cameras, which is a really cool thing I can do, and I can record it, and I can already put my information up there, or I could not have my information on it if I want. I can do cool stuff like this. Hey, look, I already have it embedded. I don't have to add it later. That's the kind of cool stuff you can do in Adobe, in Open Broadcast or OBS, because now I can take that video and I can bring it into one of my other editing tools. So if you're not familiar with OBS, I would definitely check it out. It's free, favorite price, and you can download it on Windows, Mac OS, as well as Linux. So I'm just curious if anyone's used OBS. Since Rick's on here, I'm just curious. He's the expert editor. Do you use OBS for any kind of recording to bring into editing software? I'm just curious. So just a reminder, OBS is not an editor, but it's going to make my workflow a lot quicker because I can go ahead and put in the cool elements I want. I can go ahead and put in the text that's going to pop in. I can go ahead and screen record, and then I can bring it into an editor to clean it up if I want. Or if I like the way it turned out, no editing required, and I'm good to go. Okay? So that is OBS. So here's a little behind the scenes on OBS. And a lot of folks are like, what in the world? It's a lot because you can create, again, like I said, multiple scenes. So if you take a look here, I've got scenes there's my full front view and main camera, screen recording, and I can go ahead and put all of these elements inside of my recording right there if I want. So that's OBS. Again, it's free. A lot of people use it for streaming directly to YouTube or Facebook Live, or for those that are gamers and they like to stream to gaming sites. So that's OBS. Pretty cool tool. If you've never seen it, looks cool. I love it. All right, I love it. Terry says, I've not used it, but as a YouTube creator, my kids would love this. Yeah, because you can record or you can stream directly to your YouTube channel. And what's really cool is I can go ahead and have my different segments and then pull them into an editor to publish on YouTube. I love it. Miss Ortegon says, I've never used it. It looks cool. Yeah, OBS is super slick. I definitely like it. And it's become my workhorse over this time we've been doing all of this streaming fun stuff. So I would be remiss if I didn't mention iMovie for my Mac users. iMovie comes locally included on your Mac devices. So if you've got a MacBook Pro or MacBook Air, it's going to be on there. The software that is on the actual laptops are going to be a little more robust than the one that comes on the iPad. So my friend Greg here that said he wants his students to be able to create, you can edit using iMovie, which is included on those iPads, and it's pretty cool. And they've added in some new features to iMovie if you haven't played with iMovie in a while, which includes like inset. I can do cutaways. I can even use green screen inside of iMovie now, which is pretty cool. So I actually do a lot of editing in iMovie as well. I'll be honest, it kind of depends on what I'm working on. So if I'm on my PC in my office, I might pull up Shotcut and play around with it, or DaVinci, and if I want to do some more advanced stuff. Or if I want to be sitting downstairs watching TV and also doing some editing, I'll be on my laptop and I might be using iMovie. Okay. I use iMovie a lot in the classroom on an iPad, because when I push into a classroom, I usually have, different video projects set up, and I'll actually, hand out the iPads to small groups. We'll film and then we'll do the editing in iMovie because it's a pretty cool editor. And I figured out how to do some cool hacks for that. So the other tool that I love, which I use it for filming, but also it does have editing capabilities natively inside of it. And I've been amazed with what kids have come up with in Doink. Greenscreen by Doink it's a paid app, but it's worth every penny. And it is a green screen tool that lets you turn your iPad into a green screen studio. And it is geared towards students, so it's very user-friendly. And so my students love this. I push into classrooms and have done a number of projects, including reenactments for literature. So we did projects on the significant scenes from The Outsiders, a lot of Shakespeare stuff. Definitely loved using it for weather reports this year. For sixth graders, they got to be weather persons, and the green screen feature allowed us to do that. And then after they recorded, we brought it into iMovie to put in their titles and do stuff like that. Now, I will have to say that Doink has added some new options, including the ability to add text and titles. And because you can do some trimming, basically you can edit inside of it and not have to bring it out unless you want to. So it's super cool. I love this. All right. So Greg says new iMovie features sound great. Definitely want to use green screen with the iPad. Yes. So if you can't pay for an app, you can only use natively on there. You can use the green screen feature. If you can put a paid app, I would highly recommend Doink, but it's fantastic. Some people call it Doink, but the kids love it. I show them some stuff and then they amaze me with what they come up with. And I actually use it a lot for my little selfie of the day where I've been taking a lot of photos in front of the green screen, because you can use it for cool photo booth projects as well. So I did do a little app smashing, and I included this in the presentation, and the link will be available in the description if you want to take a look at this. This is actually me running through how you use Doink and how you use iMovie to put together a project. And this was for a 6th grade social studies class where they were doing video diaries, very similar to an Avatar, after they'd been learning about colonization. And so they were doing Avatar style video diaries. It was really interesting, a really cool project. And so if you're curious and you want to see what that looks like, this is actually excerpts of me explaining how to use those two apps together to create their project. So another tool that I think is really fun and a lot of is really cool. And so Greg, who's got the iPad, you have access to this app and it is free. This is Apple Clips. Has anyone used Apple Clips? And this is definitely one of my new ones that I'm really going to be pushing next year when we get back into the classroom, because I do have, you know, like 20 iPads I can go in and the kids can work individually on projects, which is really cool, or they can work in small groups when I push in. But Apple Clips is just a really cool tool to do some creative things with. Has anyone heard of Apple Clips? I'm just curious. So what's cool about Apple Clips is I'm going to show you, these are little snippets right here. Just looking at the screenshots, what do you notice? On the left-hand side, I've made myself a cartoon. So now I've got some creative license as a student with creating my videos. And this is the other thing that makes it really powerful.
Clips is great for being able to use it, speak while recording your live text.
What's really cool is, as you can see there, you might not have been able to hear it, but you could see that as I'm talking, it's capturing the text. So it can do live titles. So here's another one.
So today we're talking about the Tuskegee Airmen, what happened to them with all of the research.
So as you can see, I'm talking about the Tuskegee Airmen. I used a filter to make it that sepia filter to make it look like it was retro. So I'm also using my knowledge, you know, about the time period to kind of depict what I want in my scenes. And that talk to text thing is super slick. So you can go in and you can choose what that titles are going to look like, your captions. And you can even choose that if I'm speaking in English, but I want it to show it in Spanish, or if I'm speaking in Spanish, I want it to show it translated in Spanish, it will do that. So I had a Spanish teacher that loved this for their students to do their language practice and do it in Clips. And Clips is it's included on it's free on iOS. So if you don't have it downloaded, you definitely should download it to your iPad or your iPhone, because it's a super cool tool that you can use with your students. So Greg, there's a bonus one there for you that you need to try with your kids, especially if you've got younger kids. Having that talk to text thing is really powerful because it's happening live. But the really magical thing is I can go in and click on the text and I can make corrections. So if it didn't quite get the right word, you can make the corrections before you export their things. I love it. This right here, Ms. Ortegon says, that will be great. Yes, you need to talk to your teammate, Mr. Lorero. He played around with it last year. He was like, this is super cool. He was like, muy bueno. So you should definitely check it out. It's a really cool tool. All right, so that's Apple Clips. And we're still running through some more tips and tools here. Next up, WeVideo. I love WeVideo because it is cloud-based, which it allows me to do some cool stuff, and it's collaborative. So one of the things that I did, we didn't get to do it this year, but the previous year, I do a Shakespeare project every year. Remember I said I started video doing point and shoot. In my classroom, we would set up our active board, our Promethean boards, and we would project what we wanted the background to be, and we shot with the point and shoot camera. And then we would edit in Windows movie maker, and they were terrible, but it was about the kids going through the process of making Shakespeare movies. Fast forward 11 years, I've been doing that every year, and every year it gets better. So we moved to better equipment, we moved to better things. We integrated green screen, we integrated multi-camera shots, and then came in the option of using WeVideo 2 years ago. We didn't get to do it this year because it was an end of year project and COVID-19. That's right. We're going to be back next year, better than ever. But what's really cool is I work at multiple schools. So I had 4 middle schools and 7 movies going on simultaneously. So, and that's just me. Imagine if you're a classroom teacher and you have all of these kids working on projects. What's really cool is you can go in and monitor students' projects. So as a teacher, you can share out projects, you can see what they're doing. And so I could definitely check-ins. I could do phone call check-ins are like, all right, I'm going to see your progress. I could go in and I could look at the projects and see how they're doing. And since it's cloud-based, it's really cool. It has green screen capability. It has screen recording capability, and the ability to export it in multiple options. Like you can have it live in your WeVideo account. You can download it. You can push it directly to YouTube. So I think WeVideo is really cool. And the other thing is you get a bank of images and background layers, and you've got titles and all of that. And it's really cool. And they've even added the ability to push out GIFs, I believe. Let me know if I'm forgetting anything, Rick. I mean, I know he is a power user for WeVideo. I just think it's a really cool tool. And for me, it was a game changer, because I used to literally have to run over to each of my schools for editing sessions with kids. But because it was web-based, they could log into any computer versus me having to loan them a computer. They could log into their, in a computer that's at the school, and then I could check on their projects, which I think is a really cool option. So that collaboration feature of WeVideo is really cool. So this year, I did work with a social studies class that they were working on their project, and they worked collaboratively, and they used WeVideo to create their projects. It was really cool. And it is a paid to have all the collaboration and all of the resources. And they've rolled out a whole new look and feel of it for the new version, which is pretty slick. My teacher that used it this year, she got a Donors Choose grant to fund getting WeVideo for the year for for his video projects. So if you're not familiar with WeVideo, definitely check it out. There is a mobile app that you can use, but it doesn't have all the bells and whistles that you would get on the web access. Okay. So I would be remiss if I did not point out that there is still a basic video editor that comes on your Windows 10 device. Just like you luck out and you get your iMovie on your Mac, it's kind of hidden in there. It's the Windows video editor. If you type in video editor down in the start bar, you're going to get this. This is a quick little tutorial I created for my teachers because they were recording their Google Meet sessions with students. They would record their sessions, and they'd realize, like, I want to edit out the part where I was just answering questions or whatever. And they were like, but I don't have an editing tool. And so when I shared this, so this actual tutorial video walks you through how to use it, how to find it, and then really kind of how to trim a Google Meet session, but it would work for any video that you're trying to use. So I've included that in there. There'll be a link in the description if you want to check it out, but it's a pretty cool tool as well. All right, next up, Adobe Rush. This one's kind of cool. It is free on the iOS store, and it is in the Adobe family. So it's not as heavy level as Adobe Premiere, which is really professional editing. But it's pretty cool. So I've been playing around with it because you can download it to your local device, or you can actually use the Adobe Rush app, which is really cool. So this is another editor tool that might be really cool. That you might want to check out, Greg, for your kiddos, because Adobe Rush is, if you have the 5th graders, they might want to dive in and do some heavier level stuff. And Adobe Rush does allow you to do that. And it is cloud-based. So if you log in, it will remember your stuff if you want to work on your project on a laptop as well. So I've been kind of playing around with it. It's pretty cool. I like that you can do multi-tracks, which is a benefit. In terms of being able to do different audio, different layering, and things like that. So you should definitely check out Adobe Rush if you haven't already. It's pretty cool. So I did mention Shotcut as one that I've been using more recently, and this is one of those that is open source. And open source means amazing tech-savvy folks developed this and then put it out there in the world for people to use. And so Shotcut, I downloaded it and been playing around with it, and it is pretty similar to iMovie in terms of the look and feel of it and what you can do with it. So it's kind of an iMovie solution if you're a Windows person, if you need to have something that's a little heavy editor. So I think it's pretty cool. So I did my most recent 2-minute tech tip. I recorded it in OBS to get the effects that I wanted, and then I stitched it together and cleaned it up a little bit using Shotcut, and it was really cool. Really cool. Appreciate it. Hey, Jen, thanks for all the great tips. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing great. I'm so excited that you caught this tip. I've been really enjoying doing these live. Hope you're doing well as too. All right, next up. Now we're getting into the big guns right here. This is DaVinci Resolve, and this is version 16. And DaVinci Resolve is for real professional type editing. It is akin to Adobe Premiere, which is a pro editor that a lot of folks are using. This has like major bells and whistles. This is for those folks that want to do a deep dive and do a lot of like color correction, really level masking and green screen type stuff. It's super cool. I've been playing around with it because I always like to look and get familiar with different tools so that I can share them with students and teachers. And I've been thinking it's pretty cool. And again, it's open source, so which means it's free, which means the price is right for me to play around with. Now they do have a DaVinci Resolve Studio, which does give you more of a cloud-based versus storing everything locally, and that one is a paid option as well. But it's pretty cool. So that's DaVinci Resolve. So I did want to mention another pretty cool tool that is web-based and is collaborative. I call it Copwing, but apparently it's Copwing. And I don't know if anyone's seen this. This is a really cool web-based platform. There is free and then there's paid. For the free version, you can go in and you can work on your project and it will save your project files for 7 days. So that means during a week for a student, I can start on the project, I can finish it in a week and I'm good without having to pay for it. But I can collaborate, which is really cool. So for the end of the school year, one of my teachers that was one of the 8th grade teachers in charge of the 8th grade program, she used Copwing to create the highlight video for the end of the school year. What was great was, since it was collaborative, she was able to put things in a Google Drive file, upload them, share it, have her teammate go in and check on the video and play around. And it was really cool. And if you go into Copwing, you're going to see that it's like, do you want to do video editing? Do you want to make a GIF? Do you want to just trim a clip? There's all sorts of different little tools that you can use in your workspace. And it is free. If you want to be able to save your projects beyond the 7 days, it's going to be a premium option. So, but for the free version, pretty cool because it's collaborative. This is an option for your students to work remotely on a video project. So some of my teachers shared this out as an option when they were trying to do some video projects remotely. So I also wanted to mention StreamYard. That's actually the tool that I'm using to stream directly to both Facebook and YouTube. And what's really cool with StreamYard is it's great for live video production. So I'm excited when we get back to the real world to use this for students to create live streams for the morning news and school events. And so that's another layer of video creation. But what's cool is that on the paid version, you can actually record and download your recording. So I did a session where I recorded just privately so I could put in my changes, my layers and all that kind of stuff. And you can do that. There is a free version, which allows you to stream 20 hours a week, or excuse me, a month. You can have up to 6 guests. And this is where it's really cool is now I can bring in remote guests that can join me on their mobile devices or their computers. And it's super slick. I share a link and people can hop in and do it. But I can stream directly privately to my YouTube channel if I don't want anyone else to see it. And then I could use this as a tool to create tutorials directly for my students. So teachers have been taking a look at it and playing around with it. So on the free version, you don't get the option to have like the branding. So like I have at the top of mine, you see my Genmoji up there. And I'm able to put in my custom layers, that little live over there. That's a premium option, but it's like $20 a month if you pay out for the year. So I'm really enjoying it, but it's a really cool tool. The free tool is pretty slick as well. And I just wanted to share that with you guys in case you wanted to check it out as another tool, because, you know, live streaming and setting up and planning and having students think about what shots they want to get and all of that for live events would be a really great opportunity for you to bring video into the classroom. Additionally, with us still not knowing what it's going to look like when we get back in the fall, this is a great tool for you to bring in guest speakers into your classroom where you can actually kind of put on a show. So definitely check out StreamYard if you have not already. It's pretty cool. So I did want to say a little bit about so far, how are we feeling? Do we get at least one app or tool or tip or trick that we're kind of excited about? So as much as I love video production, and I think that video production is really one of the most powerful ways to engage your learners in your classroom. And I really feel it was a shift in my classroom when I started doing video projects with my learners, because even the reticent participants were so excited to participate in their movies, and they take such pride in the movies that they've created. I had the opportunity to participate in the Google Innovator Project this year, and my project, I went to the academy and I pitched them that I really wanted to get more teachers to be aware of how to use video in the classroom. But when I talk to teachers, like, I don't even know where to start. I don't know what to do. Where do I go? And so it can be a little challenging for teachers. And so my project has been to create an app that's a one-stop shop of resources that you can use to get started with video in the classroom. So this is my Lights, Camera, Action app, and I'm going to show you guys that real quick. And you literally can download it and have it on your mobile device so you can access these resources. But I definitely wanted to show you guys this. So I'm going to hop over here, and we're going to take a look, and we're going to see what this looks like. So here it is. So this is my Lights, Camera, Action app. And what's really cool is that I have all the apps and sites, a number of things that I've already talked about. Apps and sites are included. Video gear. I always get asked, well, what gear do I need to get started? What, apps can I use? And what are the easier ones? And what are the more challenging ones right now? So look at this. I got my video gear right here. Look, there's my mic I'm using right now. There's that green screen that's right there behind me. You can follow, I've got a Twitter account. You can follow us on Twitter, but I've also got things like in here, including I've got my Jen's Fave. I've added this novice, thumbs up. That means for beginners, intermediate. Yeah, you got it. And then my advanced right there. Those are for my advanced users. So I've actually labeled the different apps. And so some of them I've talked about today. There's a bunch others in here that I did not talk about, because it's not just about the video that you're recording, but also there's like audio tools and graphic design tools that you want to use to bring into your videos. So as you can see, I've got tons of stuff, so you can check that out. Additionally, in the app, there's my video gear, all my faves, things that I use all the time. Be forewarned, if you click, there's no affiliate links. I'm not making any money off of it, but I apologize in advance if you go shopping on Amazon and buy out the store. So the other really cool thing, though, that this is where I think I'm really excited the most about this app, and this is why I want you to grab it, is that I'm adding in here resources, including documents that will support video production in the classroom. So I've got planning templates. I've got charts to compare the apps you want to use, quotes about filmmaking to get your learners engaged here, different sites and tools you might want to use that are going to support your use of video in the classroom. Okay. And then also I've got a video series. You can go in here and pull up videos I've created that kind of walk you through different things. You want to learn about green screen, want to see scenes of projects kids have done, want to see me talk, at the STEAM fair. I've got different videos in there for you to check out. Additionally, I've added this in, and I really hope for my folks that are tuning in, that you're using video or you have an idea. This is my idea share. I want you to submit an idea or a resource or project. What are you doing with video in the classroom? Because my goal is to start gathering those ideas so we can share them out, because that's what teachers do best, is share their ideas, and other teachers go, I like it, that would work for me, or I need to adapt it for my learners. So definitely check that out. And then there's a little information about me if you want to know. So this is the app right here. Definitely want you guys to check it out. I would love for you guys to check it out if you're interested. So that's the Lights, Camera, Action app. And right here, I was really excited. You guys are like the first. I really showcased the app. It's an ongoing project. Terry, think this is an excellent PD. Thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Hopefully you got some ideas of something that you want to use with your learners. So here's a list of some project ideas. This is not an exhaustive list by any means. It's just a couple of things that you might want to think about that are subject specific, but they can be adapted for any of them. So here's some video project ideas that's included in the presentation that will be included in the link in the description once this session ends. So our goals: explore video creation tools. Thumbs up. Did we do that? I think so. Did you gain some ideas for using video creation tools for lessons? I hope I shared a couple of good ideas of things that I've done and gave you some ideas of how you could use it with your learners. And then maybe you've gained some ideas for students to create their own video projects. I think that that would be awesome to know that right now. I see that Miss Carter says she's excited about exploring Copwing. Yes, for your elementary kiddos, there's a lot of cool options in there. Now, I want you to double check the privacy options. You might need to be the one that logs into the account for them to create it. But check it out. It's super cool. It's definitely going to be something you're going to want to use for your learners, for projects you create for them. So questions, comments, thoughts. What do we think? Any burning questions that I did not address? I tried to share tools that kind of were across the spectrum on different, easy to more difficult and all different platforms. That was the goal. Hopefully you got at least one tool you're kind of excited to try and use. I'd love for you, if you haven't already done so, to check out my Tech Tips 411 website. I've got all sorts of resources on there. I've got an entire section that's on video production. And hey, you can go ahead and get that app. If you haven't already done so, sign up for my weekly Tech Tips 411 so that you know what's going on with the latest and greatest with tech tips and Chrome extensions and tools and resources you can use. I'll be resuming that the weekly Tech Tips going, going live with those at the end of July when we resume school. If you, thanks to those that were tuning in on Facebook, but if you were tuning in on YouTube, guess what? I got a Facebook page where I stream to and I share resources as well. And for my, let's see here, for my Facebook watching friends, you can check out all sorts of cool stuff on YouTube as well. Last but not least, this is the mobile app that has everything all in one package. All of the things are on my website, all the resources I share. As soon as I update them right there, I definitely would love for you to check that out. Let's see, we got Greg says, great live stream, Jen. Thank you. I'm an APS teacher at Maryland Elementary. Oh, that's awesome. I'm thrilled. Since you're in APS, you got any questions, just hit me up, email me. I'm happy to collaborate with you. I think I know who your ETS is. And if you need some support with some projects this year, please let me know. Awesome. So I thank you guys so much. I've got just, Ms. Carter says, I agree. She's done an amazing job with these sessions. Thank you. It's been a labor of love. It's a lot of fun. I actually get excited. I miss seeing people face to face, but it's pretty cool that I'm getting to share this and then I can go back and share it out with my teachers later on. So as much as I've been enjoying these sessions, unfortunately, they are about to come to an end. I've only got just 2 sessions left for the summer PD series. Tomorrow, I'm going to be talking about creating with Canva. And then my final session is going to be all about Bitmoji. And I'm working on something special. I'm super excited to share with you guys. Nobody else has seen it yet. So I'd love for you to join me for that if you are available. So that's what we got. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate your time. Hopefully you got one tip or trick. Let me know in the comments below if you found this session beneficial. Thought it was pretty cool. Oh, I know. I forgot one thing because you might just find it interesting. I had, just because we're talking about behind the scenes video stuff. What do y'all think? I thought I would show you guys behind the magic of the studio, all the good stuff. There it is, sneak peek. What do you think? It's pretty cool. So definitely think it's pretty neat that we can, I can highlight all the cool stuff that I'm doing, and I'm going to do a tutorial on all of my setup. If you guys are interested in checking it out. I love video creation and there's so many options for your students. I want you to try it. Let's see here. I will try and make it. Is that for either one or both? Hopefully, I got to thank you. Wow. Awesome. Cool stuff. Pretty cool to see behind the scenes. I'm going to do a whole video behind the screen. I finally cleaned up my office. So now it's okay for public consumption. So I'm going to show you a little bit behind the scenes coming up. All right. That's it for today, guys. Thank you so much. If you found this video beneficial, please make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're on YouTube. Give it a thumbs up. Give it a like. Say it was really cool. I'd love to know what you thought, or if you have any questions of other things you'd like for me to talk about. All right, guys. I will see you guys on the next one. Have an awesome day.